What's to do, YouTube? This is your boy Eco Gamer, and these are gonna be my top 15 games of 2017. So to start off my list, we have Prey, and I beat it on PC. So let's go over the technical aspects of Prey. Prey runs flawlessly pretty much on the PC when it released, with major technical issues on the consoles, no surprise. Other than that, the game performs and looks graphically good, and the controls are pretty fluent. Now, as for the story of this game, basically you're stuck in an orbital space station, and your goal is to basically stop these things called the mimics, which can transform into basically objects, people, pretty much anything in the game. And then you might be walking around one corner, and then suddenly, boom, a mimic attacks you out of randomly nowhere, which is pretty cool. Spoiler alert, the ending, you figure out you were a mimic as well. So all that was basically the whole game is a simulation. Overall, Prey was pretty good. I liked it. I know it can get iffy at certain times, but it still is a great first-person shooter, and I can highly recommend picking it up if you can. Moving up my list to number 14, we have Dragon Quest Heroes 2. I beat this on the PC. It's also available for PlayStation 4. Dragon Quest Heroes 2 is a Dynasty Warriors-like game. I'm not much of a Dynasty Warriors fan. I did like the other Dragon Quest Heroes 1. I do like the Dragon Quest lore, and I like how they incorporated that into a Dynasty Warriors-esque like game. The gameplay is really fun. You can also play online with play online cooperatively in the story mode with friends. I beat it in about 15 hours. Game runs flawlessly on PC. Totally worth picking up if you like a Dynasty Warriors game. I think it's still on sale on the winter Steam sale as we speak right now. So go ahead and check that out if you want to, guys. Moving up to number 13, we have Horizon Zero Dawn for the PlayStation 4. Horizon Zero Dawn graphically looks great compared to seeing what it's running on currently, the PlayStation 4. The open world environment with the mech dinosaurs I thought was really cool, and how Guerrilla Games took from a first-person shooter to an open world game is pretty interesting. The quests are kind of boring, so I pretty much just skip them. You fight the final boss like 3 times in the game throughout of it. But other than that, Aloy is an interesting character to follow along with. And the game mechanics run smooth and runs fine. So definitely worth checking out Horizon Zero Dawn if you own a PlayStation 4. Moving up to number 13, we have... number 12, we have Splatoon 2 for the Nintendo Switch. I played the first Splatoon on the Wii U. The reason I bought the Wii U was for Splatoon 1 and Mario Kart 8. They both run. Splatoon 2 is great for taking it on the go if you have access to internet. It's also great to play online. The online is good as ever, and they give you lots of content that keeps coming with updates, unlike DLC and patches you'll need in like most of EA's games. So it's a complete game. It runs at 60 frames per second in the story mode and online. The story mode is about 5 hours long. It's pretty decent. You just go into each area and solve the different puzzles you have to run around. So definitely the best first-person shooter on the third-person shooter you can get on the Nintendo Switch right now. So I definitely recommend it. For number 11, we have Resident Evil 7 Biohazard. I beat it on the PC. It's also available on Xbox One and PlayStation 4. I played all the Resident Evil games, and people are saying, oh, they don't like what they changed it. So I like that they went back to their roots. It's no longer an action horror game like 6 and 5 were. It's an actual horror game. The first half of the game, you're basically inside of a house, and they've taken it into a first-person perspective, which makes it even more awesome, unlike some people don't like that, but I definitely like that. You could totally get into the vibe of the family trying to kill you. You're trying to escape, and there's like a bunch of jump scares and that. It's definitely great with VR if you have PlayStation VR or something like that. You can definitely check that out as well. So overall, the game is pretty good. The second half is more action-oriented, but overall, the game was still amazing. I definitely recommend picking this up if you want a survival horror game that will live up to the expectations they gave it. I like that they went back to its roots. Definitely worth checking out if you get the chance. Alright, moving on to number 10. We have A Hat in Time for PC, PlayStation 4, and Xbox One. I beat this game on PC. I thought it was dope. It was made by a former Rare developer. and it was also kickstarted. People probably think it's bad because it's like ukulele. It is not like ukulele whatsoever. I can definitely recommend picking it up because it's basically, it has to do with hats, kind of like Mario Odyssey. I think it's better than Mario Odyssey because it took me 10 hours to beat. Unlike Mario Odyssey, I beat that in 5 hours, minus the collectibles. In this game, you can go at your own pace. When you start up a mission or a story mission, it's all cute. Great music and soundtracks in the game. You can even check, you can go at your own pace. You can go on the main story or go off the beaten path and get some collectibles and go about that way. Either way, the game is definitely worth checking out as a platformer. The hats give you different perks and abilities. So definitely check that out if you guys get the chance. Alright, moving on to number 9. We have The Evil Within 2 for PC, PlayStation 4, and Xbox One. Now, I beat the first Evil Within, and I thought that game was awesome. It's the head director is who created Resident Evil 4, also created this game. So if you want to check this game out, I'd highly recommend it. It's also a survival horror game, a bit more actiony than Resident Evil 7 is, but still worth it nonetheless. The story is predictable. You basically are, you know, your daughter's abducted into STEM, and you have to go into STEM to save her, and your goal is basically to get her out of there, and your wife's trying to stop you, all those sorts of things. Overall, the gameplay is awesome. You can sneak around, do different sneak move and techniques, so the game doesn't get boring anytime soon. So yeah, definitely check out The Evil Within 2 if you want to get the chance to. Moving up to number 8, we have Danganronpa V3 Killing Harmony for PC, PlayStation 4, and PS Vita. Now, Danganronpa V3 is a high school killing simulator that's heavily animated, heavy anime on it. Solving the murders of who killed who in the game is really awesome. Each murder is very unique in its own way, and you have to figure out who killed who in a timely fashion. Otherwise, the one guy who killed everyone will get away, while everyone else will die, pretty much. Yeah, definitely check out Killing Floor V3. Moving up the list at number 7, we have Ark Survival Evolved for PC, PlayStation 4, and Xbox One. Now, Ark Survival Evolved released in an alpha state. I played the finished game, which came out in August, I believe. You're seeing gameplay of me playing it right now. No glitches, no problems, no hitches. The game runs fine. It's an awesome open world game. Lots to do, lots to explore, lots to check out. Definitely lots of things you can do. As you can see, I'm flying my pterodactyl around right now. The environments are beautiful. The PC version, definitely the one you want to get. The console versions run like complete ass. And I played the PlayStation 4 version. Definitely not worth playing that. I am playing on a 1080 Ti maxed out with these settings, but I also have, my brother has a 970 build, and this thing can handle 1080p 60 no problem, and still look gorgeous. See the open world environment? Definitely awesome. There's a little route this guy can fly to. Overall, though, the game is definitely worth checking out if you're interested in spending hundreds of hours exploring it. The expansions are also really gorgeous and things. Different dinosaurs you can tame. Different things you can check out. Yep. Moving on to number 6, we have Cuphead for PC and Xbox One. Now, Cuphead is definitely it's a boss rush simulator game. You know, boss rush, there's certain run and gun levels. Each one has got its own unique, each boss has its own unique abilities, and the game's art style is amazing. The music is great in the game. I beat the game on Expert and got all the achievements, and I really enjoyed my experience with it. Cuphead is definitely worth checking out if you want to get into a really fun boss rush game. It's $16 on Steam sale right now, as well as Xbox One. So if you ever get the chance, definitely check out Cuphead. It is definitely one of the best indie games of this year. Moving up to number 5, we have Tales of Berseria for PC, PlayStation 4, and PlayStation 3, part of the Tales series. Tales of Berseria is a battle between logic and emotion, and the story is very deep and interesting. The combat is no different than the other Tales game. It's even more refined than it was for the other games. The graphics are good. Everything runs good in the game. It has a very deep story. I beat it twice, and it took me about 60 hours to beat it twice, so 30 hours for just your first playthrough on normal. So if you're interested in a JRPG that can give you a lot of content, definitely check this game out. Moving on to number 4, we have Nier Automata for PC and PlayStation 4. Now, Nier Automata is made by Platinum Games, and it is a fantastic action JRPG. It is definitely worth checking out. The music, the art style, everything in the game is awesome. I beat it 4 times. There's 4 different endings. So you could basically get your money's worth out of it for just playing those. So definitely check out Ark Survival Evolved. Not Ark Survival Evolved, my bad. Definitely check out Nier Automata. The game won't get boring. Definitely one of the best action RPGs of this year. Moving on to number 3, we have Persona 5 for PlayStation 4 and PlayStation 3. Now, I love Persona. I've beaten all the Persona games except for 2, and Persona 5 is definitely one of the best turn-based JRPGs of this year. The music is the best I've heard all year. Atlas nails the music in the game, like, way up, and get out. You know, the usual stuff like that. Fantastic turn-based RPG. It took me 55 hours for my first playthrough. I only beat it once before my PlayStation died on me, but other than that, the game is amazing. It runs flawlessly on the system. Definitely check it out if you want a deep story, and definitely worth checking out. Moving on to number 2, we have Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild for the Nintendo Switch. The only Zelda game I beat was Wind Waker, so I'm not the biggest Zelda fan, but boy, was I blown away by Breath of the Wild. This game definitely was a sleeper hit for me this year. I know I was definitely interested in the game, so I picked up the Switch to play it, and I was not disappointed. Zelda Breath of the Wild is a great open world game. There's a lot to do. I got all the shrines. I beat it in about 65 hours. That's getting all the shrines. I know it takes people like 100 hours to do, but I'm a beast of games, so it wasn't too difficult for me to complete. So Zelda Breath of the Wild is a must-buy for any Nintendo Switch owner. If you own a Nintendo Switch, definitely check this game out. Zelda Breath of the Wild is definitely one of the best games of this year, and it was also nominated for Game of the Year. Nintendo definitely nailed it with this game. Alright guys, here we go. My number 1 game and Game of the Year goes to Nioh for PlayStation 4 and PC. Now, Nioh was a complete sleeper hit for me. I played the demo on PS4 when it was available, and I was busy playing other games when it came out, like Nier Automata and other stuff like that, and Resident Evil 7, so I didn't really have the time to play it, but when it was released on PC in November, I put 400 hours in that game. The game is awesome. It's basically like take Dark Souls, Monster Hunter, and Ninja Gaiden. It has Ninja Gaiden gameplay, a hub world like Monster Hunter, and basically a the difficulty of Dark Souls, basically. So yeah, think of it like that. I basically 100% of the game in 400 hours. I beat all the bosses. You guys can check out my boss fight videos for that. Let's see. I got all the achievements, basically, all that usual spiel. The game has 4 different new game pluses, so you have plenty of content to keep you going. If you get the complete edition, you get 3 different expansions. The expansions add a lot more of content, new bosses, different fights, and all that sort of good stuff. So, Nioh is my game of the year, and you guys can let me know what your games are down in the comment section below. This is your boy EcoGamer out. Make sure to like, comment, and subscribe. Peace!